Hey everyone, today we're tackling a common misconception about Buddhism, the idea that it's only for monks and nuns. Let's dive into what the Buddha actually taught and see why this belief is far from the truth. First, let's look at the Buddha's own words from the Dhammapada. Happily he lives who drinks of the Dhamma. This simple statement shows that the Buddha's teachings are meant to bring happiness to all who practice them, not just those in robes. The Buddha taught a path that's accessible to everyone, regardless of their lifestyle. In the Samanapala Sutta, he explains, "There are, sir, a number of ordinary crafts, mahouts, horsemen, charioteers, archers, standard bearers, camp marshals, camp followers, high military officers of royal birth, military scouts, men brave as elephants, champions, heroes, warriors in buckskin, homeborn slaves, cooks, barbers, bath attendants, confectioners, garland makers, washermen, weavers, basket makers, potters, arithmeticians, accountants, and whatsoever others of like kind there may be. All these enjoy in this very world the visible fruits of their craft." The Buddha then describes how these ordinary people can benefit from his teachings, showing that the Dhamma is meant for everyone, not just religious specialists. Let's look at a real story from the Buddha's time that illustrates this point. Remember Prince Nanda? He was the Buddha's stepbrother who entered the monastic order on his wedding day but couldn't stop thinking about his bride-to-be. Instead of telling Nanda that he had to be a monk to practice Buddhism, the Buddha used his psychic powers to show Nanda a vision of heavenly nymphs, promising that Nanda could attain them through practice. This eventually led Nanda to true understanding, but it shows that the Buddha was willing to work with people's worldly desires to lead them to the Dhamma. The Buddha's teachings offer different levels of practice for different people. In the Dhammapada, he says, "Buddhism appeals both to the masses and to the intelligentsia. It offers milk for the babe and meat for the strong." This means there are practices suitable for everyone, from simple moral guidelines for lay people to advanced meditation techniques for those who want to go deeper. For lay people, the Buddha often encouraged good deeds and ethical living. He taught, "One should avoid irritability in deed, word and thought, and exercise self-control." He also emphasized the importance of the 5 precepts for lay people. One should adhere to the 5 precepts, the fundamental moral code of Buddhism, which teach abstinence from destroying life, from stealing, from committing adultery, from speaking lies, and from taking intoxicants. These are guidelines anyone can follow, monk or not. The Buddha also gave specific advice for lay people on how to live a good life. The disciple should treat all beings with kindness and compassion, live honestly and righteously, control his sensual desires, speak the truth and live a sober, upright life, diligently fulfilling his duties, such as service to parents, to his immediate family, and to those recluses and Brahmins who depend on the laity for their maintenance. This shows that the Buddha saw great value in living an ethical life as a lay person. Now, it's true that the Buddha saw the monastic life as the most direct path to enlightenment, but he never said it was the only path. In fact, he taught many lay people who achieved high levels of spiritual attainment. Remember the story of the fisherman named Arya? The Buddha saw him fishing and said, "He is not an Arya, noble one, who is engaged in killing animals." This simple statement helped the fisherman realize the harm in his actions, and he later became truly noble through practicing the Buddha's teachings, all while remaining a layperson. The Buddha's path is often described as the middle way between extreme asceticism and indulgence in sensual pleasures. He taught, "There are 2 extremes, O bhikkhus, which he who has given up the world ought to avoid." What are these 2 extremes? A life given to pleasures, devoted to pleasures and lusts, this is degrading, sensual, vulgar, ignoble, and profitless. And a life given to mortification, this is painful, ignoble, and profitless. This middle way is something anyone can practice, not just monks and nuns. It's about finding balance in your life, wherever you are. To sum up, while the Buddha did establish orders of monks and nuns, his teachings were meant for everyone. He offered a path that could be followed to different degrees by different people, always with the goal of reducing suffering and increasing happiness and wisdom. Whether you're a merchant, a warrior, a farmer, or yes, a monk or nun, the Buddha's teachings have something to offer you.